अपने आप कैसे पता चलेगा मैं कनेक्टेड हूँ?
मैं बताऊंगा, मेरे पास है।
आता रहेगा। हेलो, गुड मॉर्निंग। आई एम डॉक्टर नरेश पॉल। हाँ सही, उनको ऑडिबल है। हेलो, गुड मॉर्निंग। आई एम डॉक्टर नरेश पॉल फ्रॉम सर्जरी, प्रोफेसर इन सर्जरी यूनिट 2. I hope you all will be all right, and I pray and expect from the Almighty you will stay at home and be careful from this present situation. So today is my first class, and here is the first lecture for surgical anatomy of penis, scrotum, and abdominis. So in this lecture we will study the diseases of these organs. First, we'll study the anatomy which are in related to the diseases, so that we can in future lecture discuss the future diseases regarding these organs. So, in the first, we will study the human urogenital system, from where the organs are developed. The urogenital system, as the name suggests, comprise two main components. The first, urinary tract related and to the urinary production, the kidney and the urinary organs like ureter, bladder, urethra, and the genitals. All the urinary and genital system exhibit different functions. They are topographically and functionally linked based on the development origin. The male and female genital organs are additionally divided into internal and external genitalia. The classification of male genital organs, similar to female genitals, and male genitals can be divided into internal and external genital organs based on embryogenic organs development. For example, the testicle is considered an internal genital organ, even though it is leave the abdominal cavity during the course of its development. In contrast, the male urethra, the urethral spermatic duct, that is considered to be the part of external genitalia due to its location within the penis. So, the internal male genital organs include the first testis, which is the paired organ, abdominis also paired, the ducts abdominis, ducts reference the accessory sexual organs, vesicle seminal vesicles, they are also paired, verbourethral glands, there are the different types of glands in these organs, they are also paired, and the prostate gland, they are in the internal male genital organs. So actually this is a picture of uh, organ organs like testes and its covering, penis and
थोड़ा सा लाउड हो रहा
okay. So this is the covering of the testes. Actually, this is a diagrammatic picture and showing the different layer in diagram. So it is very difficult to display all of these diagrams. So I'm reading the covering one by one according to the picture, so that how these layers are important and what are the relationship in with different diseases with these layers. So in the starting from the external, the first is the skin, diaphragm muscle, external spermatic fascia. Then in the section like very difficult to depict in this, like there are two layers of tunica vaginalis. These are the two internal layers like visceral and parietal layers. Then in another sections, if we study from the above or from external to internal, again the skin, diaphragm muscle, external spermatic fascia, cremasteric are like the middle spermatic fascia, then internal spermatic fascia, tunica vaginalis, pampiform plexus of veins, and epidermis. These are the different layers which cover the testis, and they are very important during the future study of these diseases. So, coming to the importance of these layers, how these layers are important for these organs. Starting from the skin, because the skin of the scrotum is thin, wrinkled, and pigmented and form a single pouch. A slightly raised ridges in the middle indicate the line of fusion of the two labial scrotal folding. So, two line of fusing in the middle and making the two different cavity for both the testes. In the superficial fascia, this is a continuation of fatty and membranous layer of anterior abdominal wall. The fat is replaced by smooth muscle called the dartos muscle. This is innervated by sympathetic nerve fiber and is responsible for wrinkling of the overlying skin. So this wrinkling is sometimes important and also important during the uh, when we are excising some part of the skin due to some diseases like some cystic disease of the skin, some part of the skin, the scrotoplasty. During scrotoplasty, this wrinkling is helpful so that it will not hamper the covering of the testes. In the spermatic fascia, it has three layers, which lie beneath the superficial fascia and are derived from the three layer of anterior abdominal wall on each side. The first one is the external spermatic fascia is derived from the aponeurosis of external oblique muscle. The cremastic fascia is derived from the internal oblique muscle, and finally the internal spermatic fascia derived from the fascia transversalis. So these are the three important layers which cover the testes. Then come the tunica vaginalis. This lie within the spermatic fascia and cover the anterior, medial, and lateral surfaces of each testis. So these are the different layers which cover the scrotum. The scrotal skin is pigmented, hairy, and devoid of fat and rich in sebaceous and sweat glands. So, because of rich in sebaceous glands, some patients experience diseases of these organs like sebaceous cyst sometimes form in this organ, and that's why this skin is important because when there are multiple sebaceous cysts in the scrotum and patient has problem with this cyst, so it has to be excised along with the skin, and the remaining skin is approximated without any problem due to this laxity of the skin. The function of the scrotum is to be keep the temperature of the testis slightly lower than rest of the body so that it help in spermatogenesis. For human being, the scrotum temperature should be 35 to 36 degree, that is 95 to 96.8 degree Fahrenheit, 1 to 2 degree accepted normal body temperature of 37 degree. The higher temperature may be damaging to the spermatic count. That's why these organs are outside the body. The temperature is controlled by the scrotum, moving the testicle closer to the abdomen when the ambient temperature is cold and further away, farther away when it is hot. So this depend on the environmental temperature. Moving the testes away from the abdomen and increasing the exposed surface area allow a faster dispersion of heat, whether it is when it is excess. This is done by means of contraction and relaxation of the cremasteric muscle. This is done by means of contraction and relaxation of the cremasteric muscle in the abdomen and the artos fascia muscular tissue under the skin in the scrotum. These two muscles help in dispersion of the excess heat and also help in contraction during the low environmental temperature. Another function also, however, this may not be the main function of the scrotum. The volume of the sperm produced by the testes is one important factor. It has been suggested that if the testes were situated within the abdominal cavity, that they should be subjected to the regular changes in the abdominal pressure that are exerted by the abdominal muscles. So, this squeezing and relaxation would result in more rapid emptying of the testes and abdiidmus of the sperm before the spermatozoa were matured sufficiently for fertilization. In some mammals, like elephants, some mammals and marine mammals do keep their testes within the abdomen, and there may be mechanism to prevent this inadvertent emptying of testes. Contraction of the abdominal muscles and changes in intra-abdominal pressure can often lift and lower the testes within the scrotum. Contraction of the muscle fiber of the dartos is completely involuntary, result in the appearance of increased wrinkling and thickening of the scrotal skin. The testicles are non-directly attached to the skin of the scrotum, so this dartos contraction result in their sliding towards the abdomen. They also, in some men, can be lifted the same way by tightening the anus and pelvic muscles. The outermost layer of the smooth muscle is continuous with the pons scarpa and the dartos fascia of the penis. The testes are suspended by their cords in the scrotal compartment. As the testes descend, they acquire covering from the layers of the abdominal wall known as the spermatic fascia that form part of the scrotal wall. The external spermatic fascia derives from the external oblique fascia and remain firmly attached to the border of the external ring. The cremasteric muscles and fascia arise from the internal oblique muscle and attached laterally to the inguinal ligament and iliopsoas fascia and the medially to the pubic tubercle. The internal spermatic fascia is a continuation of the transversalis fascia. The parietal and visceral tunica vaginalis surround the testes with a mesothelium lined pouch and derived from the peritoneum. They are continuous at the posterolateral border of the testis at its mesentery, where it is fixed to the scrotal wall. The testis is also fixed at its lower pole by gubernaculum. Occasionally, the mesentery and the gubernaculum may be deficient, leaving the testes unfixed. So, this is the one condition where the gubernaculum or its attachment is unfixed and it become free, making the deformity bell clapper deformity and predisposing to the testes for torsion. Then this comes the supply of the testis. The anterior wall of the scrotum is supplied by the external pudendal vessels and ilioinguinal genitofemoral nerves. So these are the vascular and nerve supply of the skin of the testis. The anterior vessel and the nerve typically run parallel to the rugae and don't cross the raphe. Thus, transverse or midline scrotal incision are most hemostatic due to this vascular pattern. The back of the scrotum is supplied by the posterior scrotal branches of the perineal vessels and nerve. In addition,